Mike, here in Nevada, we use the term statutory sexual seduction. Does that mean the same thing as statutory rape?
Yes, Nevada's use of statutory sexual seduction is the same as what's commonly known as statutory rape in other parts of the country.
And here in Nevada, here in Las Vegas, what is the legal definition of statutory rape or statutory sexual seduction?
In essence, the age of majority in Nevada is 16 years old. So statutory sexual seduction would be having sex with somebody who is under the age of 16. And really it would amount to having sex with someone who's 14 or 15, because if you have sex with someone under 14, then that would be considered child sexual assault.
Now, when you say have sex with, what is that oral sex? Is that vaginal sex? What is the technical definition?
The technical definition involves any penetration. It doesn't have to be traditional sexual intercourse. It can be any kind of penetration sexually, and it's very broadly defined. It can be fingers, it can be lips, tongue. It doesn't have to involve necessarily two sexual organs.
So when you say any penetration, I mean, obviously that includes vaginal penetration.
That's correct.
It includes anal penetration.
Yes.
Now, what about oral sex? Is that included here?
Oral sex would also be classified as having sex for purposes of the statute on statutory sexual seduction.
Now, let me ask you this. You said that the age of consent here in Nevada is 16, right?
Yes.
So let's say I have a girlfriend who's 15 years old, okay? And she and I are having a sexual relationship. But it's entirely consensual. It's loving, it's willing, there's no force used, there's no coercion used, but I get accused of statutory rape. I mean, isn't her consent or her willingness a defense to a crime like that?
It's not. Ultimately, the law reflects the social value in the state of Nevada that says under any circumstances it's just not appropriate for someone who's under 16 years old to be engaging in sexual acts.
What if I believe that she is of the age of majority? I mean, let's say I meet a young lady and she tells me she's 17 years of age, and actually she looks very mature. She looks like she may be 19 or 20, and I just have no reason to believe otherwise. And I honestly and reasonably believe that this young lady is 17 and therefore that the sex with her is legal. But in fact, she's 15. And could I get arrested? Could I get charged? What's the circumstances there?
Absolutely, you could be arrested and you could be charged. Ultimately, prosecutorial discretion plays a role. If your defense attorney can show the prosecutor that you had been misled, if there was a fake ID, it may be that your attorney could compel or convince the prosecutor to utilize their discretion to either dismiss the charge or reduce the charges. But as a matter of law, it doesn't matter. It's a strict liability crime.
So basically, if she's underage, then I'm liable.
That's correct.
Now, let's say the prosecutor does not reduce the charge and I go to trial. I'm convicted of statutory sexual seduction. What are the penalties here in Nevada? What would I be facing?
Okay, in Nevada for statutory sexual seduction, it is a felony. You could go to prison. Most likely, if it's a first offense, you would likely get a probationary sentence, which would mean either hopefully no jail time or some local jail time in the Clark County Detention Center. But ultimately, you could go to prison depending on the facts and circumstances.
If you're convicted of statutory sexual seduction here in Nevada, do you have to register as a sex offender?
Courts have some discretion with regard to ordering registration for statutory sexual seduction. Most often, they will order registration. It's not required, but it's certainly better if your counsel can negotiate a resolution to something, for example, coercion, non-sexually motivated, which specifically does not carry the sex offender registration requirement. So the answer is yes, but not always.
And have you had success in representing clients accused of statutory rape, statutory sexual seduction here in Nevada?
We have had success in that regard. We have been able in some cases to get the cases dismissed. Sometimes a complaint will be made, let's say by a family member or other third party, but the the victim, so to speak, who might be a willing participant, is not cooperative with the prosecution in terms of going forward, doesn't want to testify, refuses to testify. In those cases, we have seen those charges dismissed because the state wasn't able to prove their case. Sometimes we'll enter into a negotiation where the defendant might plead guilty to statutory sexual seduction, be ordered to comply with certain terms and conditions of probation, and then upon successful completion of those terms and conditions of probation, the plea will be withdrawn and a new plea entered into to a less serious charge that does not require registration as a sex offender. I'm attorney Michael Becker with the Las Vegas Defense Group. If you or a loved one has been charged with a criminal offense in Las Vegas or throughout the state of Nevada, trust in me and my legal team to get your case dismissed or otherwise negotiate a resolution that causes minimal harm to you in your future.